Hey, welcome everybody to our next community call in January 2023. If you're wondering like, hey, didn't you just do a community call at the beginning of the month? Yes, we did, but we decided to switch the schedule. So it's going to be every last Thursday of every month. By the way, I'm joined by JS here. He's going to talk in a little bit more about DEITS, which is a very amazing feature that was released in this new release 4.0.6. 4.6.0. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited I can't speak. But before we get into it, let's just kind of do like a quick recap what we're going to talk about. So we're going to talk about what's been happening, what's new in 4.6.0. Obviously, we're going to have our wonderful chat with JS about DEITS. He's our full stack software engineer at Strapi. We're going to do a community showcase where we're going to have Daniel come in and talk about an awesome custom field he has created and why you should be interested in building your own custom fields. So what's been happening is 2023. So if you missed the last stream, we want to say, thank you from the bottom of our hearts from all of Strapi team for making past year so awesome. And we look forward to continue to do the best that we can for the community, for everybody making Strapi the best. So thank you from all of us on the team for such amazing year, helping us reach 50K stars on GitHub. Super duper excited. And if you're in the chat, say hello. We'd love to hear from you. Glad to have everyone here. And very awesome. And also, I'm sure you heard we have our Strapi Cloud beta, which is pretty cool. And so if you aren't on the waiting list, make sure you go jump in. It's going to make it very easy for you to be able to deploy your applications to the cloud without having to have the headaches of what the deployment process should look like. I know people just want to put their apps live and have customers use it. That's the big point. And that's what Strapi Cloud is going to solve. And I'll make sure to put all the links in the description to make sure you could find the form where you could join the list. And with that being said, we also do amazing Discord events. We have Monday through Friday, 12:30 CST time, office hours for an hour where you could jump in. You could talk to Derek and I, ask any questions you like. And every third Wednesday of the month, we have our Strapi development best practices, 1 p.m. CST, where we talk about the intermediate to more advanced topics of building with Strapi, so how to customize controllers, how to work with policies, all that cool stuff. So just wanted to let you know that that's something that exists. And we now have a new event page. So if you forget what events we have, you could go to strapi.io/events, and you could see all the events that we have. You could sign up a form if you want to get friendly reminders of all the events that are happening. So that's awesome. So what's new in Strapi 4.6.0? So there's a lot of cool things new, but I'm going to mention a few briefly because I really want to make sure that we spend like a big chunk of our time talking about our biggest feature, DEITS. And I think this is a huge release because of that, which is pretty awesome. And so we released the first version of DEITS. We'll talk about it more with JS in a little bit, talk about exporting and importing data, which is pretty awesome. We have relationship reordering, which is another amazing feature, which now allows you to reorder your relations. And what's awesome, you could also do it on the API layer. And I'll make sure to put a link to the documentation under the description of this video, just so you could find all the resources that you need. And we see hello from Denver. Nice, awesome. So very excited. And if you have any questions, you could ask him in the comments. And I know we could talk about a lot of things, but today I want to really make sure that we talk about the most important feature with JS. And we're going to talk about DEITS. So let me bring him on the bigger screen, and we could start the conversation. And if you have any questions during the conversation, please let us know in the comments. So Jess, thank you for stopping by and doing this. How have you been? How are you today?
Fine. Quite busy yesterday with the release, but now it's done, and can't wait to see what people will think of data import export.
Yeah, no, that is fantastic. And I know it's like a really big release. Congrats to like everybody on Strapi, your team. I know everybody works really hard on everything. Very busy. So thank you for taking time out of your day and joining us. So for someone, let's say, who just like joined our stream and they're not quite sure what DEITS is, how would you describe it? And what problem are we looking to solve with it?
Yeah, so the main problem we're trying to solve here is being able to transfer data from a Strapi instance or to a Strapi instance from and to basically anything. So right now, what we are focusing on is being able to export data from your local Strapi instance to a file, which will represent your data, and then being able to use this backup file to import data into your Strapi instance. And that's the first iteration of data import export that we are delivering or that we delivered yesterday. What everyone should understand is that this is only the beginning of data management in Strapi, and it's only the first iteration. In the 4.7, I don't know if everybody saw that or is aware of that, but we are also going to release the data transfer, which will be a command allowing you to transfer data from your local Strapi instance to a remote Strapi instance, which can be really useful in a lot of different scenarios. And it will also allow you to pull data from a remote Strapi instance to anything else.
Yeah, that is really, really cool. And you can now, with the new release, try the import export feature out. It's pretty awesome. And we won't go unless you have more questions, because I want to have more questions to JS. So I'd love to hear from you and keep this conversation. But just briefly, I'm going to share my screen. So this is done via CLI commands, and you have now access to either Yarn Strapi import or export. You could put help in front of that, and you could see what commands you have available, and it'll kind of show you. So I went ahead and already created an example where I could share some stuff. And what happens when you export this data, it's going to save it in, I believe it's a tar file. Correct me
Yep.
if I'm wrong, and it has all your information there. And if I wanted to import, I would basically reference that tar file that I already have, and I already did the export part. But if I want to import, you would run yarn strapi import. There's different flags that you could see in the help function, and then when you click enter, what it will do, it will ask you first if you sure you want to proceed, because it will overwrite all your data, and then it'll go ahead and do the import. And here it shows, hey, these are all the things that I imported, and then you would be able to see in your Strapi instance, which I'm not running right now, so I have to restart my application, yarn develop, and you would see that all the data is there like I had previously before, because I've already done this. But I wanted to quickly share this. The one thing that I've noticed, and this is like the question I wanted to ask. For instance, I had all my items, which are blog posts, but they had a relationship to my admin user. But it seems now like that's something that's not saved. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, and if you look closely, it's not the only thing that has disappeared. You also lose the relation to the admin user who created the entity. And this is for a simple reason, that is, when we developed the feature, we had to make a choice regarding admin stuff like user, roles, permissions, API tokens, for instance, which are stuff linked to a specific instance of Strapi. So when you are exporting data and then re-importing data into a new application, do you want to keep the same admin user? Do you want to keep the same roles? Maybe, maybe not. But when you are doing an export from your production application and then trying to re-import this data into a development application, you might not want to have your the same users, the same admin users and stuff. So we had to make a choice, and we decided for this first iteration not to include anything related to the admin content types, such as the users, so the admin users, the roles, the permissions, the API tokens, and the audit logs, which means that you will lose relations to those entities. And I think it's referenced in the documentation for anyone wondering, but yeah, it's something that is worth noting.
Yeah, and then currently right now, if you wanted to import the data, you do need to have your content schema JSON or your content types present in the application or in the instance that you're targeting. So it's not going to create those things at the moment.
No.
Is that something that in the future we might look at, or what are the plans for that?
Yeah, so Again, what we here for this first iteration, we decided to be quite strict on a lot of stuff, including the different strategies that we want to put in place. So for now, you have what we call a schema matching strategy, which is a strict one, which means that we allow for small changes that doesn't impact the data structure, such as if you switch an attribute from private true to private false, it doesn't change the data structure, so it will be ignored, and you will be able to import your data. But if you have major changes, like you have an attribute that is new in your target application, then we won't accept the import in order to preserve your data integrity. Sorry. So that's one thing that we decided to do. But in the future, the goal will be to allow for different kind of schema matching strategies, different kind of import strategies. For now, we are only doing restore, full restore. So we are deleting everything and recreating everything. In the future, we want to be able to merge data. So if you have already some data and you want to import some more, you should be able to do it. But it's not something that is available right now.
Yep. And before we continue too far, can you describe like the structure of the tar file? Like how is the data stored, and what was the reasoning behind of creating that?
Yeah, so the tar archive is composed of different folders and one file. The one file is the metadata.json file, which contains the Strapi version and when it has been created. It's used mainly to do the schema matching, not the schema matching, the Strapi version matching. Basically, for now, you should have the same Strapi version in order to prevent importing data in an application that doesn't support data import export or that kind of stuff. Then you have different directories, as I said, one for the schemas, the links, the entities, the configuration, and the asset, and they all correspond to different part of the exported data. In the asset, you will find your uploads. So this is the local uploads, and it will allows you to transfer your media file from one local instance to another. In the schemas directory, you will find all your schemas. So it's mainly used for comparison. So when you are importing data, we are comparing the schemas to make sure there are no differences or no major differences. So this is mainly used for that, but we won't modify your schemas when you will import data. We won't modify your schemas with those ones. And then you have the rest, so configuration, entities, and links. Configuration is basically everything that we store in for the settings of your application, like the webhooks or everything related to the settings of your plugins and stuff like that. Yeah, as you can see, we are storing a lot of stuff in the core store, which is our internal settings table. In the entities, you will find all your actual entities and their attached components and dynamic zones. So here it's mainly used to transfer your actual data. So if you have, for instance, a local, a restaurant, an article, I don't know, anything, it will be referenced here. And this is, yeah, where most of your data will be probably. And finally, for the links, we are storing all the relationships, between your entities. And this allows you to find back any kind of links that you can have in your application.
Yeah, that's awesome. And what was the reason from using a JSON-L file?
Well, we did some research. To be honest, before doing this feature, we didn't really know about this format, but it's in fact really useful.
I'm literally hearing it from like seeing DEITS. I'm like, oh, I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, and it's actually really useful because it allows you to stream your data really easily. You just have one line for each entity that you want to have in terms of JSON format. And then you can just stream your file and parse each line, and you have one entity at a time or multiple entities if you parse multiple lines. We found out that it's quite used in a big data environment to stream data in or out. Sorry. And so, yeah, we decided to take advantage of that.
Yeah, no, that is really awesome. So we have the first version of V1. People could now export and import data via CLI, fairly straightforward, pretty awesome. So what is planned for like the next release 4.7.0?
Okay, so for the next release, what we want to do is first improve a bit the import-export based on the feedback that we'll get. We were pretty opinionated, as I said. We are waiting for feedbacks to see what are the main use cases, what are the main pain points in order to be able to iterate on this. So that's the first thing, but the main objective will be also to release the data transfer command, which is a new CLI command allowing you to transfer your data from and to different Strapi instances. One main example that we can have, for instance, is if you have a Strapi Cloud instance and you want to push data to your Strapi Cloud instance from your local Strapi instance, then you just have to run yarn Strapi transfer to my cloud URL, and then it will transfer all your data.
Yeah, that's really awesome. And that's something you would run from your local machine?
Yeah.
Nice, awesome. And in terms of like once transfer is released, that's going to be pretty cool because it, like you said, it'll let you to update any Strapi instance anywhere, which I think is really awesome. And that's one of the biggest pain points that a lot of community members face is this ease of being able to easily export, import your data between like Strapi instances and applications. I think this is really awesome. And once the transfer features release, I know it's a little bit far in advance thinking. Are there any additional things that you were thinking of adding or doing?
Yeah, we are planning on adding more and more and more. But
Nice.
basically, the end goal for this data management topic, which includes data import, export, and transfer, is to be able to use all the architecture that has been made around the data management for data import, export, transfer, and make it available through an API in order to like anyone should be able in the future to write any kind of providers, data providers or data destination, and just write a provider for it, feed it to the data transfer engine, and boom. So what I mean by that is right now, everything that we've developed is interchangeable. You can transfer data from a Strapi instance to a file, from a file to a Strapi instance, from a local instance to a remote instance, etc. But all of that is interchangeable. You can put anything as a source and anything as a destination. And we want to encourage people in the future to build their own providers as a source or a destination. And
Yeah,
that will be the main end goal here. The main end goal, sorry, here, giving the possibility for everyone to build their own custom providers to import data or export data.
That is a very powerful feature. So in the future, someone can, for instance, create a provider that could handle taking data from, let's say, WordPress and easily being able to transfer it to Strapi.
Yeah, because in fact, what we are doing is having two providers communicating through a transfer engine. To go a bit into the technicals details, and this transfer engine understands a common Strapi format. And as long as you're feeding this engine with this format, then anything can be transferred. I mean, you can transfer from anything to anything as long as you're using the same format.
Yeah, no, that is really cool. And I know we have a couple of questions. And if more people have questions in the chat, definitely ask him. We'd love to hear from him. But one great question from Daniel. And Daniel's going to be on in a little bit to also showcase a cool custom field he made, which we'll talk a little bit. But he asked, are there any limitations to what you can transfer via import-export or the transfer feature?
Yeah, so as we said before, you with the current implementation of the import and export, You cannot transfer anything related to the admin, so user role, permissions, audit log, and API tokens. But that's basically it. Also, for now, we are not handling the provider's assets. For this first iteration, we decided not to include it in order to release the feature sooner. It will probably be something that we'll have to deal with in the future, though. And regarding your other question, regarding bidirectional transfers, I'm assuming you mean the possibility to have transfer in both direction, like from a Strapi instance in local to remote and from remote to local. Or maybe I'm misunderstanding your question. If you have more details. Because if this is your question, yes, we are. You should be able to do that.
Yeah.
And again, the goal is to have everything interchangeable, any source to any destination, with custom implementation and the API we will release.
Yeah, no, really awesome. I know, like, sometimes a lot of people don't see like behind the scenes of, you know, what is going on, what we're doing, but what were some of the challenges that we had to overcome in order to like implement this feature?
Well, first of all, we have highly relational data, and we need to take that into consideration, especially when you want to do merge strategies or stuff like that. We don't have UIDs for the entities and for entities, so it limits the possibility to do ID mapping from a source to a destination. It complexifies the thing. The quantity of data, we try to keep something really simple in order to be fast. We wanted the transfer to be as fast as possible. We have some users, some customers also who deals with hundreds of thousands of entities, and we didn't want people to wait hours in front of their computer to have their exports ready. So we try to make this as fast as possible, and also and mainly as customizable as possible, so that in the future we can release a data transfer API for anyone to play with. That was the main challenges.
That is awesome. So when is the transfer beta scheduled to be released?
The beta for the transfer, there is already kind of a shadow beta of the data transfer, which has been released along with the 4.6.0-beta.2, if I'm not mistaken. But it's really more an alpha more than anything else.
Yeah.
The first beta should be expected in the coming weeks. I would say 2 weeks.
Nice.
And the 4.7 should be expected end of February. Basically, the feature is already in an MVP state, and we need to just clean up stuff and make sure everything is working perfectly for people.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And if anyone in the chat has questions, for JS, I know he's really busy, so I want to be mindful of his time. But while we wait for some questions, is there anything that I missed asking, or anything that you want to share around DEITS and transfer?
Well, I think we've been around everything. I mean, data import export, the limitation, the data transfer, the different possibilities that you will have with that, and finally, the data transfer API. Honestly, and it's only my opinion, but I think this will be a game changer. This data transfer API, being able to write your custom source and then just feed data into Strapi or anywhere else, you will be able to do, I don't know, we can think about JSON providers where you can just parse JSON data and feed your Strapi instance with that. If you want to transfer data from your old CMS to Strapi, you can build something for that. I don't know. I'm just excited a lot by that.
Yeah, no, I'm like really, really super excited. And I know for now, like all of this is feature that's done through CLI. Are there any thought in the future having this be part of the admin panel?
That's a good question. Initially, we had some thoughts about that, and we decided to keep it in the CLI for now. But it
Yep.
shouldn't be too complex and too complicated to build an UI for that. At least a simple UI for
Yep.
that, like just click import and export and just run the process. For now, it's not planned in the releases, but it's something in the future. If someone wants to contribute, I'm sure it will be greatly appreciated.
Yeah, no, that is awesome. And I know like you're a busy person and you have so much going on, like everybody here on the team, you know, one thing people like wonder, like what do people do at Strapi? Like they work really, really hard. That's kind of like you know, a lot of people, you know, because I know we have so many requests in the community, like when is this feature, when is that coming? And what people have to understand, we're all like human beings. The company is growing, you know, but at the same time, everybody who's at the company right now, nobody is idly sitting. Everybody is working really, really hard, and we have to prioritize, you know, the features that we have to continue to build, not only to grow but to stay competitive of Strapi. So thank you for all you do, JS, and everybody on the Strapi team. Thank you for stopping by, and I really appreciate our conversation with you. Have a good one.
Thank you very much, and thank you for having me. Have a great evening, day, I don't know, everything. Bye.
All right, take care. Bye. So now I'm going to bring on Daniel. I wanted to have Daniel on because he created this amazing custom field, and I would like him to talk about and, you know, share about it. So what we do a lot of times on the stream is we like to show community, showcase some of the things built up with the community. And today I really wanted to showcase what Daniel has built. He's the other developer advocate. Amazing, amazing person. Love to have him. So let's bring him in, give him a nice big round applause. Hey, Daniel, how are you today?
Hey, Paul, how are you?
Very, very good. Very good. Thank you for joining me. I know, like I was saying earlier, everybody's busy at Strapi, so I really appreciate you giving us the time. By the way, we have released our blog post outlining all the things that are included in 4.6.0, and Daniel did amazing videos describing all the cool new features. So I'll make sure to put it in the link for you to share. But today I want to talk about custom fields, why you're excited about custom fields, and you build a really cool one that got me thinking like, hey, I should probably make something similar to that, because that's actually a very brilliant idea. So first, tell us why you're excited about custom fields, and then we could talk about what you built.
That is, those are some good questions. Where do I even start? I'm excited for custom fields because they speak to the sort of the story Strapi is trying to tell with extensibility. Like Strapi alone has so many cool things that it can do, and just like adding the ability to plug into lots of other services while making that sort of more native to the content and the experience that Strapi already provides is, as Pierre would say, a game changer. And so, you know, I think everyone's been seeing like the AI hype, I guess. Everyone's overloading chat GTP servers. And I thought, wouldn't it be cool if we had an AI application inside a Strapi app sort of natively? And so that's why I decided to sort of like tinker around and use use Strapi custom fields to make a text generation generally in Strapi. And it looks much better when I demo it, actually.
Yeah, let's
At
do
some
that. You could
point, I think I
share your
will,
screen
if you'd
whenever you're
like.
ready. Of course. This is why I invited you. Come on. I was like, let's do this.
Okay, sure. And wait, let me share my screen. It's been a while since I've done this. Okay. There we go. All right, you should be able to see my screen.
Yeah, 1 second. Let me here we go. Here we go. Yep, we see your screen now. And let us know if Daniel needs to zoom in, but I think it looks good. But
It should be good, yeah?
Yeah, please correct us in the comments just in case, but it looks good to me here.
Okay. I'll just switch to this tab. Oh no, this is the wrong tab. In case no one in case you don't have like a great idea of what custom fields are, I just put this page up. So we have strapi.io/features/custom fields. And we have a description of what custom fields can do. And really, like I mentioned before, they help you extend Strapi with sort of custom interactions with other third-party applications or even internal parts of Strapi, depending on what you want to do. And if you check out our marketplace, we have a lot of really cool custom fields already. Someone just put together like a Google Maps custom field. So you can use like the Google Maps interface and then have that data sent to you or sent to your wherever you want to display it in a format that Google Maps is ready to read also. We have a lot of interesting ones around. I think there's a UID one. There's a not an SEO one. I don't think we have that one yet. I saw someone put together an editor. CK editor has one. I know the team at Lottie Files is working on one. And so custom fields are like really big. And you, Paul, you did one just around the time the API came out. You made like a YouTube.
I
Paul
didn't
made
share it.
you
I didn't
made
share
a
it.
custom field with YouTube videos, and whenever you click on the YouTube video, you get rickrolled.
Rickrolled, exactly. That was the video. No matter what you did, you would get
Yeah,
rickrolled,
and
which was pretty cool, I thought.
exactly. So there's like so many cool things that you can do with the custom field. And so let's get into my demo, and hopefully Paul doesn't kick me off because
Of course
I
not.
feel
Come
like,
on.
anyway, yeah. So here we have like the normal Strapi dashboard, and we'll go inside our content types builder first. And the way you like, I guess this is also like an impromptu how to use custom fields. So we have our custom field installed already. And this is sort of our content, our collection type. We have a title of text type, and we have another field called writer that is a custom field. So this is our AI writer. And I'll show you how you could add that once you install it. So you just click add field. And here you have the default field that Strapi comes with. And you have a little tab there on the right that you click, and then you get an idea of all the custom fields. So these are some of the custom fields that we have and that are installed on my app. We have CK editor, we have a color picker, we have Shopify, we have another Shopify for single products, and then we have the AI writer. I'll add the color field just so that you can sort of see how that works. And I'll call this background. Let's call it just BG. And I'll save that, wait for my server to restart. Great, everything's up and running perfectly. And so this is the state of our collection type right now. It has a title and two custom fields. One's an AI writer and one is a color picker. So now we go into our content manager. And I want to generate some content on different things. So just, I guess, if you're in the chat, just type something you'd like me to generate with AI, and maybe I can do it live. Something appropriate, please. So here we have the sort of like content editor view of using a custom field. This is sort of our border where we have the prompt. We type in a prompt, and then okay, let's try that out. So we'll say Strapi data transfer. This is a normal text field. I keep saying transfer. And then we'll say write about Strapi data transfer. I can't spell today. And so the goal is when we click generate, it gets content for us on the topic that we wanted. And so here we go. It says Strapi is a powerful open source API platform that enables you to easily create, manage, and share your API, blah, 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 blah. But not much about data transfer for some reason. I think because we just put the feature out, the AI doesn't know about it. So we have to put some blog posts together. Let's try Docker. Let's try why Docker is awesome.
Yeah. It should be like why Simon's Dockerize awesome. If you use Docker, check out Dockerize. Simon did an amazing job. Makes deploying to Docker so easy. It's just that it's so easy that I can do it, which is pretty funny.
Indeed. That is a great question. I have not tried it in another language. Let's actually try that.
That's cool. Yeah.
We might fail live. But you see, Docker has like something concise, as JS says. The feature was literally released yesterday. So let's say in French, I guess. Write about why Docker is awesome in French. I hope that works. Oh, it does work in other languages.
That is so awesome. Oh my gosh.
Okay, so we're discovering things live.
Possibilities are limitless. And what I like about like what you did is like you added like a really powerful feature to Strapi that anybody can do, right? You don't have to wait for a Strapi team to do via like plugin development and custom field development. So you could go ahead and extend the functionality of Strapi. And to me, that's like so powerful. And this is so awesome. Now I could like, translate stuff to different languages just with this. This is so cool.
Literally, like I'm always using like, we have verification in the chat saying the text is valid. Thank you, Jess.
Nice. Nice. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, Jess.
Oh, let's try.
Persian. Oh, that challenges. Nice. Let's do this. See, this is awesome. This is a fire stream right here. See, I knew I needed to invite you, Daniel. I had a feeling. I knew it. See?
Let's see. Okay. Let's try this, but I just want to showcase like something really little here. Also, we have like a clear button, which basically clears everything that and then we get like a fresh slate. So fingers crossed. I don't know if this will work. Also because I think there's usually I don't know if
that's correct.
I can't verify this. So if anyone can read Persian, please do verify this.
Yeah, please let us know. But it is
cool. Very interesting because I knew Persian has the symbols and I was wondering how that would work.
Yeah.
So I guess it works. I don't know how accurate it is. Do let us know in the chat. But yeah, so this is sort of like the idea behind the custom field. And you have BG here. This is sort of the color picker just to show the other interfaces that you can play around with. It doesn't always have to be sort of text. You can play around with different types of inputs. And I can save this. Publish it, and I can access that via the API. I should be able to if I go and say API/blogs. So at some point I should have there we go. I get the Persian, I get the title, and I get the background. How is it saved in the DB? It's saved as text, I guess. You define, if I can open, or shall we get into how it works?
Yeah, we could definitely talk about it. I think that'll be awesome. I think I wanted to like really like showcase the fact that anybody could do this. Anybody could start building like custom fields and plugins. Like I made one that Rickrolls you. Is that the smartest idea? No, but it just seems that it's a very cool thing to do. I think it's one of the most powerful features of Strapi. So the more we talk about it, I think it's awesome.
Indeed. Okay, let's actually do that. I'll just open my VS Code really quickly here.
You can also go to Strapi Marketplace and see all the amazing plugins and custom fields that are available now, and you could be one of the other creators to create something awesome.
Yes, you could. And don't judge me for having my panel on the right. I know a lot of people.
Listen, I saw that on Twitter. I didn't want to even be part of that conversation. But to me, it always used to drive me crazy that it's on the left side because I want to see my code first and then all the other stuff. And so now that like I didn't want to say like I've already been doing it, because nobody wants to say that on Twitter. But at the same time, I'm like, it's awesome. This is good.
No, I'm proudly doing that here. So
nice. To be honest, I do this in private, so like I do appreciate like the bravery that you're going through.
Indeed. Yeah. Okay. So I think the chat is going a little insane. No, insane. Insane is the wrong word, but there's a lot of questions, I think, on this. We have, which one do I answer first?
Derek's like, I don't know how I feel about this. You know,
Can we
you
do?
know,
Okay.
I have my file
I'll,
export
I'll
on
I'll
the
just
top.
go ahead and
What can you
explain
do?
sort of how it works with like the database. And so yeah, and I saw someone commenting about the documentation.
Yes, I
Um,
wanted to ask about that.
that's something that we're actively working on. I think a lot of people have given us feedback, and even as I was putting this together, there's a couple things that we realized, and there's a couple of PRs in progress and a couple of PRs that have been merged to make the documentation better. And speaking of things that the team does, I think Paul literally just reviewed a blog post I'm writing on building custom fields. And so if you need like reference material,
Yeah.
that will be coming out pretty soon, before the end of the month, in case anyone wants to build something similar also. And so in a nutshell, the custom field I built works on top of the plugin API and then interfaces with the admin and has its own sort of like fancy stuff on top of that. And so the main section, I guess, is in the server section. Just give me a minute. Where is this? Inside your server file, you have to register your custom field. That's the first thing that you have to do. And here you can see I register AI text generation. And then you can do the same thing inside your admin file in index.js. And so here I register my custom field, and I define the type, the data type of the content that I want to store. So in this case, I'm doing it in string. And so the content that's stored in the database is string. And it's very important because this is only like a single field. And so when you say string, you can store multiple options of that. You can sort of like store different, like, if you see my interface, I didn't store the prompt. I could only store the prompt response. And so that's the string that I stored. And so related to this also, I think someone just opened an issue because when you want to generate longer text, I think I just didn't specify the type of string and the length. And so it sends back an error. But yeah, you do that and you can define some options, and these are just settings, but I won't get into this right now. A really important part is the input here. And so a big part of the field is being able to input different types of data. And so part of the custom fields API is defining an input component. And that input component is sort of what drives a lot of our functionality. And so we'll just go into our input component here in components/input, and we'll look at it. I'll just collapse that. And I'll zoom out. We'll just do that also. And so we import a lot of our design system components that we use. And I like to start explaining how this works from the HTML elements here. Excuse me. So we have a text input here that handles our prompt, and then stores that value in a prompt variable. And then we have a text area where the response is displayed. I was very intentional about using a text area because I wanted the user to be able to edit the response that you get, because I don't absolutely trust AI, and I think you should not absolutely generate or use content that's 100% generated by AI. I feel like it's a guide and you should be able to change the structure and add and remove as you see fit. And then here we have a couple buttons that, one, generates text and then clears the generated text. So the really interesting one here is generate text. And what this does is it calls a route that we made. And so we decided to create a route to securely call the OpenAI API, my bad. And that, in a nutshell, I won't get into this, but I cover all of that in the blog post, is in, give me a minute, it's in server. I'll just go to the service that we made. So we have a service called OpenAI that makes a request to the OpenAI API, sends in your authorization, passes in some data. Here is where you pass in your prompt. The other parameters that in the future I'm hoping to enable the user to change, but at the moment the only things that you can change are the prompt as well as the tokens, which is just sort of like a proxy for how many words you want to be returned when you generate data, and then it passes the response back to your front end here in the admin. And so I'll just go back to input. Yeah, so that's what this section is. We do some error handling and sort of pass the response because the API, OpenAI API response is has a couple of blanks and new lines at the beginning, and we don't want that to appear. And then we use this onChange method just to pass in the value, which is very important because when you look at the index here, it looks for a prompt, and this is the value that eventually gets stored in the database. And so this is why we pass this value, the pass result, and that's the value that gets stored in the database. And so you have to define, you have to assign the value that is expected here, and that's exactly what gets stored in the database. And it's, as far as I know, a single value only. So that's a very quick run through of how the custom field works. I go in a little bit more detail in the blog post, but I would check. Yeah, it is. It like, I think when you sort of get the hang of it, it actually just like makes sense. But it's so powerful what it can do. Like, I had no idea. Like, I just discovered this because I also just never asked. Like, are you able to generate content in other languages? But yeah, I guess I'm looking for more questions. I've been on a huge monologue.
No, that was really good explanation. I think like the one takeaway I would say from here is that Strapi, the superpower of it is the ability to customize, and the fact that you could build plugins and custom fields, which is the plugin that gives you the custom field option. It's pretty powerful and pretty awesome. And a lot of times, you know, I see on Discord a lot of people like ask, oh, when is this feature coming to Strapi? When is this coming? And you know, like, I know we have a lot of, like I said before, our team is working really hard. You know, we have like things that we have to prioritize, and we are a limited number of people. But it's amazing to see people in the community to create amazing plugins or custom fields that extend the functionality of Strapi. And I wanted to bring you on, and I want to do more of these where we showcase plugins, custom fields, with the idea that it's like, hey, you can make this thing yourself and share it with the community, and then everybody could benefit. And so I think it's really awesome. You know, and thank you, Daniel, for coming on, sharing what you build. And I know we had questions about documentation, and I think like you're doing an amazing job based on your experience going through the process to helping us define the changes that we had to make, and also as well as, you know, community feedback that we have. We really appreciate. And I also did see some earlier questions in the chat that are a little bit more like a little bit off topic, which is okay. But I just want to remind that we do have an amazing Discord channel, which is community driven, and that's a great place to continue the conversation. And so if you have any additional questions, I mean, you could throw them here in the chat. We could take a couple of minutes, especially if you have some questions for Daniel or questions about what we previously talked, let us know. But also a great place to continue the conversation is on Discord. So I know we are close to our time, and I want to be mindful of Daniel's time as well. So throw your questions in the chat if you have them. And otherwise, we'll like keep going. I was going to say, do you have any other cool ideas for custom fields or plugins that you would like to see, Daniel? Or you were thinking it'll be cool if they had that?
Sorry, I was reading a question. Could you repeat that?
Oh, no. I said, are there any other cool ideas that you were thinking of for a custom field or a plugin that you're like, oh, that'll be cool if someone made it? That'll be awesome.
I don't know. My brain has been pretty fixated on this idea, and now I'm just like, what do I do now? So maybe something interesting will come up soon.
Yeah.
But I'm really looking forward to trying um, the Lottie files one once it's
Oh,
out. I
yeah,
think that would be
that'll be
pretty
cool.
interesting.
The animations, yeah, it'll be sweet.
And probably one on, I don't know if this is this is, I think, more of like just like some customization, being able to generate sort of alt text for images. I think that would be pretty cool, just like off the fly. And I think that's it so far. But I'm sure by the next call I'll probably have some cool ideas.
Yeah, I see like somebody says, I need a page builder that people who are not developers can make content for Strapi. Yeah, I think that's a cool idea. That could be something that potentially someone could build. I'm sure it'll come with some challenges, but there's also other like sites which allow you for your front end, create pre-built components. Like what I've been doing is, and it's not quite like using a page builder, but I've been using our dynamic zones and building like predefined components
Yeah.
that I would match to predefined components in my front-end application. I know like you've done that as well, Daniel, and it's a pretty common pattern. And that way, it's not so much they're building new things from the content editor, but at least they could control the layout by dragging and dropping or using specific components in the dynamic zone. But yeah, no, I like that idea. That's really, really awesome.
Yeah, indeed. I'd love to try that also. And yeah, if I'll just answer the question on the buttons
Yep.
really quick, sorry. It's actually not an extension. It's the Strapi design system, and so you have like different options that you can add to the design system. And if you change this from secondary, the color changes, and that's it. So if I take this out, the color changes, but it all sort of matches whether it's light or dark mode. And you can check the design system website for more info on that. So okay,
Yeah.
that's it. No more talking from me.
No, that's really good. That's a good point. So if you're building plugins and custom fields or any customization Strapi, we do have a Strapi design system that makes it easier. And if you do, like there are some things that are missing. Like for instance, there's no slider in our component library. But the cool thing is we're using, oh my gosh, I can't believe it's like styled components. So it's like leaving my mind. You could create your own style components, or you could extend Strapi components with style components to add any custom styling that you want. But if the component exists, just go ahead and use it, from the, Strapi design components, which makes it really, really easy and quick to build things. But yeah, but if you wanted to do custom styling, you're able to do that. And lots of thank yous for Daniel. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And yeah, so I don't see any new questions. And if we did miss your question, because we had so many, I apologize. But I did throw the link to our Discord, which is an amazing place to hang out. Speaking of Discord, let me quickly share my screen because I want to mention some of the upcoming events that we're going to have. And every third week, every Wednesday of the third Wednesday of every month, what we do with Derek and I, mostly Derek, we do Strapi Best Practices, Ask Me Anything, where we talk about more intermediate and advanced concepts of Strapi, how to customize things, how to customize controllers, how do you query the database, what's the difference between using entity service versus using, something else. And if you have deeper questions or things you want to learn from Strapi, that's a great place to be. Also, we are on Discord Monday through Friday, 12:30 CST time. We do Strapi open office hours, so you could literally join and chat with us via voice. Derek and I are there Monday through Friday, as well as other members in the community. It's a really fun place. And of course, you could ask questions on Discord. We have another event coming up on February 28th, breaking the WordPress monolith with Strapi, Next.js, and Vercel. Check it out. And if you're not sure what events are coming, you could go to Strapi events page, strapi.io/events, and you could see all the events that are coming. You could also sign up and to get a friendly reminder of our next community call or our next Strapi best practices. And like I mentioned, we do have daily open office hours, so please stop on by and join. And with that being said, I just want to say thank you, Daniel. Thank you, JS, for jumping on stream. It was really, really awesome, really cool to have you share your experience by building a custom field. And any
thanks
last?
Thanks for having me, and
Yeah.
thanks for the questions, everyone.
Yeah, no, awesome. There was so much fun, so much fun. I can't wait to see other custom fields and plugins people make. And before you go, Daniel, any last parting words that you want to leave to our amazing community?
Yes, actually, we will have an event early February.
Nice.
On custom fields. So if you'd like to see more custom fields content, we have the people behind the CK editor custom field coming to talk about their experience and demoing it. So you should definitely check that out if you're interested. And try out the 4.6 release. I think there's some really interesting things in there.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Like the relationship reordering like just blows my mind, and the fact that you could also do it from the API, that's just like amazing. And import export, it's also amazing. Try out all those new features like Daniel said. But with
Honestly.
that, yeah.
Oh wait, I actually do have one more thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if everyone's aware the community organization. So Strapi has an independent community organization run by community members, a couple who I've seen in the chat today.
Yeah.
They have a little competition. Actually, not little. It's a great big competition, and they want to get their website up, and so they have a hackathon for that. Do check it out. Let me see if I can get a link for that. And yeah, there it is. Thank you. If you want something to do over the weekend, check that out, and you might win something cool.
Yeah, and with that being said, like, thank you, Daniel. Thank you, JS. Thank you. I saw Derek. I saw Sam. I saw so many amazing people like engaging in the chat. Thank you so much for everything. We really appreciate all of you. And remember, Discord is another great place to continue the conversation. So join us on Discord, Monday to Friday, open office hours. And with that being said, thanks a lot. Thank you, Daniel. And we'll see everybody later. Have a good day, good night, good evening, wherever you are. And that's it. Bye.